Stoicism and modern relationships. Why your love life is failing and how Stoicism can save it. What if I told you that most of the heartbreak, jealousy, and endless anxiety in your love life isn't caused by other people, but by your own mind? The ancient Stoics mastered the art of loving deeply without losing themselves. And today, I'll show you how their forgotten secrets can transform your relationships forever. Stay until the end as we reveal the timeless, ancient secrets. Modern relationships are complicated. We swipe, we text, we ghost, we chase. We crave connection in an age where everyone is just a notification away. Yet meaningful love feels more distant than ever. So, how do we build relationships that nourish us instead of drain us? How do we love without losing ourselves? How do we set healthy boundaries without pushing people away? The ancient Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, might be long gone, but their timeless wisdom holds profound answers for the modern heart. Why Stoic wisdom matters for love today. Relationships today are often a battlefield of unmet expectations, emotional volatility, and fragile egos. The Stoics taught that most suffering comes not from events themselves, but from our judgments and expectations about them. This is equally true in matters of love. Think about how many times you've been disappointed, not because someone did something objectively terrible, but because they failed to live up to the story you wrote in your head. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In love, this means recognizing that your partner's moods, desires, and actions are outside your control. What is within your control is how you respond with calm, compassion, and self-respect. Love without attachment, what the Stoics actually mean. Calmed or discerning without detach. Out of the most misunderstood Stoic teachings is the idea of loving without attachment. People mistake this for being cold or detached. In truth, the Stoics loved deeply, but wisely. Epictetus said, "When you are delighted with anything, be not too taken up with it, but remember that it is not your own." In modern relationships, this means love the person fully, appreciate them every day, but don't cling. Don't build your entire identity around them. Don't stake your happiness on their moods or choices. Because life is unpredictable. People change, move away, even die. If your happiness rests entirely on one person, then you've given away your power. Building emotional resilience. Don't be a slave to passion. How to control emotions in a relationship. Seneca wrote, "No man is free who is a slave to his passions." In modern dating, how often do we become slaves to jealousy, insecurity, or the desperate need for validation? We check if they've seen our message. We overthink every delayed reply. We spiral if they pull back, imagining all kinds of betrayals. This isn't love, it's emotional dependence. Stoic wisdom calls us to pause, observe our emotions, and not act rashly. When jealousy strikes, instead of lashing out or playing mind games, take a breath, examine it, ask, is this about them, or is this an old wound inside me? What story am I telling myself right now? What evidence do I actually have? This practice of reflective pause, of mastering our impulses, is the bedrock of emotional intelligence in relationships. The power of healthy boundaries. Let's talk about boundaries because this is where most modern relationships fail. How to set boundaries in relationships? Many people fear that setting boundaries will scare others away, but boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are guidelines for how you allow yourself to be treated. Epictetus was clear on what's truly ours. Some things are up to us and some things are not up to us. Your thoughts, your actions, your choices, these are yours. Another person's desires or reactions, not yours. So if you need time to recharge, say so. If a behavior violates your values, speak up. If you feel disrespected, draw a line. True love respects boundaries. Only those who benefit from crossing them will protest. Here's something radical the Stoics believed. Love should be an act of virtue, not a transaction. Most modern love is transactional. But be kind if you are. I'll stay loyal if you meet my needs. I'll make effort only if you do first. The Stoics flip this entirely. Marcus Aurelius writes, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. Love because it's who you are, not because of what you'll get in return. Be kind, patient, compassionate, regardless of whether it's immediately reciprocated." This doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. It means your goodness isn't dependent on external rewards. How to deal with heartbreak, a Stoic perspective. Heartbreak is inevitable. Even the most carefully built relationships can end. People grow apart, tragedy strikes, betrayal happens. So how do we endure heartbreak the Stoic way? Seneca gives us this profound advice. "He who fears death will never do anything worth of a man who is alive." In relationships, this translates to, don't hold back love out of fear of loss. Love fully, knowing impermanence is part of the deal. When loss comes, grieve, but also remember, grief is a sign you loved well. Then turn back inward. Use this time to strengthen yourself, to build a fortress of inner virtue. As Marcus said, "Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look." Modern relationships often focus on comfort, passion, or excitement. The Stoics would say the highest purpose of love is mutual growth. Help each other become wiser, more disciplined, more compassionate. When your partner mirrors your virtues back to you, courage, honesty, patience, and when you challenge each other to grow, that's a bond that transcends fleeting pleasure. Seneca wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." What if your partner is one of those people? And what if you become that for them?
That's a love story worthy of any era.
Here are practical Stoic habits for modern relationships. Let's ground all this in simple, powerful Stoic habits you can start today. Morning reflection. Ask yourself, how can I show love today without expecting anything back? Pause before reacting, especially in conflict. Take 3 deep breaths. Ask what's in your control. Evening review. Before bed, reflect. Did I uphold my values in love today? Where did I falter? Visualize impermanence. Occasionally remind yourself that everything is temporary. This isn't morbid. It makes you cherish the moment. Surround yourself with virtuous examples. Seek friendships and content like Stoic Gateway that reinforce these ideals. The ultimate Stoic relationship goal, inner freedom. At the end of the day, the Stoics would remind us that the purpose of love is not to lose ourselves, but to become more fully ourselves, anchored in our own values, unshaken by the storms of others' moods or life's uncertainties. Marcus Aurelius once again offers the perfect reminder. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So choose thoughts of gratitude over entitlement. Choose calm over chaos. Choose growth over comfort. And watch your relationships transform. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture the people you love. Now silently thank them for the joy, the lessons, even the pain they've brought into your life. All of it made you who you are today. Breathe in deeply, and as you exhale, release any clinging, any need to control. Decide now to love with open hands, not tight fists, to honor your boundaries, to be an oasis of calm strength. This is the Stoic way. let's go deeper. One of the biggest problems we face in modern relationships is the craving for constant validation. The modern trap of validation. You send a text. They don't reply for hours. Immediately, your mind runs wild. Did I do something wrong? Are they losing interest? Are they talking to someone else? Your sense of worth becomes tied to how quickly someone taps back a message on a glowing screen. Seneca warned us about this kind of slavery long before smartphones existed. A man is unhappy if there be anything else that he desires. If your happiness depends on someone liking your photo, replying instantly, or constantly reassuring you, you are handing them the remote control to your mood. And ask yourself, you would rather be free or be enslaved by every fleeting emotion and reaction of someone else? True love thrives when two whole, secure people come together, not when one person becomes the anxious satellite orbiting the other. Alright, let's get very practical. For those who are dating right now, searching Google for how to date wisely, approach to dating, emotional stability in dating. Here's your Stoic game plan. 1. Be clear on your values before you start. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to live according to nature, meaning according to reason, virtue, and his highest self. Before you even meet someone, get clear on what matters most to you: honesty, kindness, ambition. If you're fuzzy on your own standards, you'll get lost in their charm and overlook red flags. To observe more than you idealize. The Stoics taught us to see things as they truly are. When dating, don't get swept up in fantasies. Pay attention to how they treat others, handle stress, talk about their past. 3. Maintain your routines. Keep up your workouts, meditation, journaling, friendships. Don't abandon your life the second romance blooms. Your center of gravity should remain within you, not drift entirely to them. 4. Don't fear rejection. Epictetus wrote, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Apply that here. If someone doesn't choose you, it's not the end. It's just reality guiding you back to the right path. Every no is redirection. Now let's look at when conflict arises in relationships. Even the best relationships will have conflict. The difference between thriving couples and toxic ones isn't the absence of disagreements, it's how they handle them. A Stoic approach to conflict. Pause. When tempers flare, don't fire off that angry text. Don't shout. Marcus Aurelius said, "How much more harmful are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?" That quick insult might cost you trust that takes years to rebuild. Clarify your intent. Do you want to punish them or solve the issue? If it's to punish, pause again. Use I statements. Instead of, "You never care about me," say, "I feel hurt when this happens." This keeps the focus on your experience, not accusations. Seek understanding, not victory. The Stoic goal is wisdom, not winning an argument. Seneca reminds us. It is more civilized to make fun of life than to bewail it. Bring a touch of humility and even humor if possible. Conflict is not a gladiator arena, it's a laboratory for building deeper understanding. A lot of people misunderstand Stoicism and think it means being indifferent or emotionally numb. Stoicism teaches detachment, not indifference. Detachment means you can love someone fully, but you don't collapse if they disappoint you. You can desire their affection, but you don't demand it to feel whole. This is the mindset that leads to the healthiest love imaginable. Stoic intimacy, deeper than physical. Modern relationships often over-focus on the physical. We obsess over looks, chemistry, sexual compatibility, but intimacy in the Stoic sense goes far deeper. Imagine someone you can share your fears, dreams, philosophical thoughts with. Someone who pushes you to become better. Someone who sees you clearly and still chooses you, not out of need, but genuine admiration. That's a Stoic ideal of intimacy. Epictetus said, "It is not he who gives abuse or blows who affronts, but the view we take of these things as insulting." In a healthy relationship, partners help each other see the truth more clearly without taking everything personally. So next time you're seeking love, look for someone who can share silence with you comfortably, who can debate ideas without it turning ugly, who helps you reason through your fears instead of inflaming them.
That's intimacy of the highest order.
Building a Stoic relationship culture together. If you're fortunate enough to be with someone who also values growth and reason, try building a little Stoic culture together. Morning readings. Start your day by reading a line from Marcus or Seneca together. Nightly reflection. Share one way each of you tried to uphold your virtues that day. Conflict agreements. Agree ahead of time to pause and breathe when conflicts get heated. Gratitude rituals. End each night listing one small thing you're grateful for in each other. You're not just building a relationship, you're building a tiny philosophical community, a shared garden of the mind. How to love someone who isn't Stoic. The question we get often, what if my partner isn't into Stoicism? What if they're very emotional or reactive? Here's the truth. You can't force someone to be Stoic, but you can model calm, respectful strength. Over time, many people mirror this. When they get anxious, you breathe deeply and respond with reassurance. When they blame or criticize, you listen first, then calmly set the record straight. When they spiral, you ground the conversation in facts and compassion. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." People trust actions far more than words. Your steady presence will often be the lighthouse they didn't know they needed. When to let go, the highest act of Stoic love. Sometimes, the most Stoic act of love is letting go. If the relationship constantly violates your values, if your boundaries are routinely ignored, if the connection is built on illusions or on trying to change each other, then staying isn't noble, it's self-betrayal. Marcus Aurelius, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." And we might add, if it is not nourishing, do not stay in it. Release them with love, not bitterness. Thank them silently for the lessons, and move forward with a heart more seasoned, more wise, more capable of authentic love next time. A vision of Stoic love in the modern world. Imagine a world where people loved like this, where relationships weren't built on endless tests and mind games, where partners respected each other's boundaries as sacred, where arguments were handled with calm curiosity instead of rage, where heartbreak was met not with bitterness but with gratitude for the shared chapter, where everyone focused more on growing their own soul than fixing their partner. That's not some utopian fantasy.
That's simply Stoicism applied to love.
Here is a final reflection. Choose virtue over ego. In every moment of your relationship, you're faced with two paths. The path of ego, needing to be right, needing to be adored, reacting from fear, controlling. The path of virtue, choosing patience, compassion, honesty, courage. The Stoics would say, "The wise man regards himself as always in his apprenticeship." You will slip. You'll have needy moments, flashes of jealousy, moments of pettiness. That's human. The question isn't, will you be perfect? It's, will you return to your higher self again and again? That is how you build a love that is unshakable, because it is founded not on the whims of two egos, but on enduring principles. If this video lit even a small flame in your heart, imagine what would happen if you fully embraced these teachings. Imagine loving without fear, setting boundaries without guilt, growing together into the best versions of yourselves. Subscribe to Stoic Gateway right now. because each week we're exploring the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, and showing you how to turn it into the strongest relationships of your life. Leave a comment below. What's the biggest relationship challenge you're facing right now? I read every comment, and I'd love to bring Stoic solutions to your struggles in our next video. Let's build a community where we don't just survive modern love, we transcend it. Welcome to Stoic Gateway.